Welcome to this tutorial. My name is Ian and now we'll be taking you through the tutorial. So far in our tutorials, we've been using our sales data with ChatGPT. In this tutorial, I'm going to change things a little bit. I'm going to look at some human resource data. Now, one of the analysis that I really like doing with human resource data is the ability to use groupings. So for example, we often want to know with our ages is how many people do we have who are aged between 20 and 30, 30 and 40, 40 and 50, 50 and so on. And once you've got the groupings, you then want to see and compare the number of people. You often may want to create histogram graphs of that type of information. You may want to take salary bands and see how many people you've got within that. So being able to create groupings can be a really useful way of being able to do your data analysis. So that's what we're going to focus on in this tutorial. Now please remember, you do need the paid version of ChatGPT to be able to follow along with this. Please also remember to like and subscribe to our channel. Keep up to date with all that latest content. But let's jump into the tutorial. I will see you there. Welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at how we can use groups of data, or often as it's called bins. So we're going to be looking at how we can create fields within our data analysis that you can then use to create tables or you can create graphs with. Okay, so we're going to be changing things a bit. We're going to be using some human resource data. We've got our employee data, which is an Excel spreadsheet. So far in the tutorials, we've been using our sales data set so far, but now we're going to move to some human resource data. So let's start off. We're going to load the file and list the fields, just so we can have a look at the fields that we've got in our table. Okay, so there we go. You'll start to see the field names. We've got an employee, agenda, department, age, job type, salary, and hire date. So some very basic information around our employees. Now, what we're going to start with is we're going to be looking at the age. Now, one of the things that you often want to know within your company is how many people have got an age between 20 and 30, 30 and 40, 40 and 50, and maybe older than 50. So you just want to create these groupings and then count the number of employees you've got. Now let's just have a check on how many employees we actually do have in this file. So I'm going to say how many employees in the table. Let's just double check on that. Okay, so we can see there's 500 employees that we're going to be working with. Right, so let's move on to creating these groupings. So we're going to tell ChatGPT to group the age field. So we're going to say we want to group the age field. And we're going to tell it, actually we're going to say into the following groups. And as you've seen previously throughout all of these tutorials, basically we're just saying this as though we would be saying it to somebody, as though we're saying it to a data analyst and saying, do the following, group the age field into the following groups. So we're going to say, firstly, we want 20 to 29, then we're going to have 30 to 39, then we're going to have 40 to 49, and we're going to have, and actually it's going to be 40 to 50, and then we want and greater than 50. Okay, once we've got that, let's create a table just to display the results. So we're going to say create a table to display the age group and the number of employees. Okay, so let's submit that. So there we go. That's starting to look quite good. We've got the age group. We've got 20 to 30 to 20 to 29, and we can see the 62 employees. Now, looking at the table, one of the things I might want to do is I might want to understand what is the percentage. So I've got this number of people, but what percentage do they make up? For example, 30 to 39, it seems to be quite a high number, so it should be quite a high percentage. So we did this in a previous tutorial, but just remember, if you want to add a calculation to the table, well, basically you just tell it that you want to do that. So we just say add a calculation to the table, and then we say calculate the percentage of employees. So again, we can submit that. And there we go. It's already got our updated table, and we can now see that actually 30 to 39 is making up 44% of my employees. So really nice just to be able to easily add those types of calculations. Okay, I'm going to remove the percentage just to make the table a little bit easier. And what we're going to do next is we're going to look at if we wanted to break this up. Now, we saw earlier that we had some different fields. We had a job type, for example. So what if you want to see your information by your age group and by your job type. So we've got the number of employees, we've got the age group. Let's just tell it we want to add the job type to the columns. And basically now it should create like a pivot table where you will have the age group in the row, you'll have the job type in the columns, and then we should have the number of employees for the combination or the permutation between each of them. And there we go, we're already getting that. So we got 20 to 29. And as you can see, we're now seeing the breakup of how that is across our different job types. So as I say, very easy to be able to do this type of analysis. You could then add further fields into this if you wanted to, create some more sophisticated combinations if you wanted. However, what I'm going to do is we're actually going to look at the salary field. So we're going to do the same thing, and we're actually going to create now a grouping for our salaries. But firstly, what I'm going to do is we're just going to tell this to remove the job type from the table for now. Okay, let's look at our salaries. So basically with our salaries, what we want to do, we're going to create some groupings. And we want to go from $0 to $2,000. We want to go from $2,000, $4,000, $4,000 to $6,000, and anything greater than $6,000. Okay, so again, we're going to give it a prompt, and we're going to say create a salary group. So you'll see it'll be a little bit different to the original prompt that I gave for your age, but basically you're going to see that it actually does exactly the same thing. And basically what we're going to end up with is a new field called salary group that we can then use in our analysis. So we're going to say create a salary group field, and we're going to tell it that we want it to be as follows. So we're going to say the salaries are as follows. So we're going to say that we want 0 to 2,000, in this case 1,999. We want 2,000 to 3,999. We want 4,000 to, and then in this case I'm going to say 6,000, and then greater than 6,000. So there we go. We've got our different salary group fields. Okay, so we're going to accept that and see what it does with it. Okay, so it's updated the salary group field. And as you can see, it's showing a sample. So basically, it's pulled out some salaries, and it's showing you how this would be categorized. So that salary is greater than 6,000, so that would be correct. That is greater than 6,000. So as you can see, that one would be 3,427, 2,000. So it looks like it's correctly categorized each of the salary groups. So let's go back to our reports. Let's say, for example, we want to create a table displaying. And let's put the salary group into the row and age group into the column, and count the number of employees. So what we're looking to do here is we want to have the salary groups going down in the rows. We're going to use our age groups going across in the columns and see how many employees are in each permutation of that, or each combination of the different two fields. That's basically just to show you that we could use each of these together. Okay, so there we go. That's starting to look quite good. So we have the salary group, as you can see on the row, going down. So each of the salary groups. And then we can see for each of the age groups how many people are actually within those salary groups. So it looks like nobody's actually got a salary less than $2,000 in this case. So that's one way that we can bring the two fields together. Another thing I just want to show you before we conclude the tutorial is you can also graph these fields. So once we've created this grouping field, so I can tell this to create so let's say just create a graph displaying the number of employees by the salary group. And we'll just accept that. And there we go. We've now got a graph showing the information. Again, we've shown in other tutorials, you can easily tell this to download the image. You can include then the image into your presentation. But hopefully that's shown you how we're able to easily create groups and bins of data. And we're going to conclude the tutorial there, but I do hope to see you in the next one.